Hello everyone, I welcome you all to Startup Academy, your online gateway to success in ISS exam. This academy is exclusively for ISS and we are preparing for ISS 2026. We have been completing the topic sampling techniques in which in the previous lecture we have completed double sampling, and from today's lecture we'll start a new sampling technique which is two-phase sampling. Now, two-stage sampling, not two-phase. Two-phase was a part of was a part of the sampling which we have done in the previous lecture, which is uh, uh, in which there were two phases. In which first we used to select a large sample of size in prime, and then from that we used to select a smaller sample of size small n. That we have done previously in our sampling techniques, and today we'll start with the new sampling which is two-stage sampling. These two sampling techniques are very different from each other, and with time many questions have been asked about the difference between these two sampling. So that also we'll cover afterwards after we'll complete this sampling. And today we'll start with two stage sampling. So let us begin. Two stage sampling. Now, before starting two-stage sampling, let us discuss what is cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is nothing but if we want to, suppose we want to examine a population on the basis of their income. So we'll make clusters. That is, we'll make groups. First group consists of people who are living in posh area of the city. Second group consists of people who are middle level people, and who are earning salary not very much high or neither very too less. And the third one is the cluster which is formed due to which are people who are labor class or who are having low profession. So we have divided our population into three clusters of group, and from that we'll do individual samplings, and that is known as cluster sampling. So this cluster sampling holds importance in our two-stage sampling as well. In the first stage, what we'll take out a sample. We'll select. Suppose our population has n number of clusters. We'll select some of the cluster in stage one, and then we select equal number of units from each clusters in the stage two. So these are the two stages uh, that includes in our this sampling, two-stage sampling. So the first one is stage one. Stage. In stage one, what do? We select some some clusters from the population, and in stage two we select specified number of units from each selected cluster in stage 1, right? So these are the two stages that we include. Now let us consider an example. Suppose we want to study we want to conduct a study on the students in city A. There is a city A in which we have to conduct a study on students, how they are performing, or the performance of the students. So, in stage one, what do our population? First of all, we'll define our population. Population is nothing but all the schools in city A. All the school in city A forms our population. And in stage one, we'll select, suppose we are selecting capital N number of schools from population. We select n number of schools from the population, and then from stage 2 we select n number of units or students here from each school for our study. So this was an example. I hope that it clearly defines what is two-stage sampling. In two-stage, I'll rewind what the example says. The example says that in two-stage sampling, if we want to conduct a study on the performance of the school students in a particular city A. So if we are conducting the study in stage one, first of all, we'll define what is the population. All the schools in that city is the population, because children, we are conducting an experiment on the study. So study is done in the school. So we'll take all the schools that inherit the children, or that make the children study, whatever you can say. And in stage one, we'll define, we'll select some schools. Obviously, it is impossible to select all of them and then conduct the experiment, which is complete enumeration of the population. That is not eligible here. So we'll select some. That's why we are reading sampling. So we'll select some schools, or they are the clusters or groups of students. Then in the stage 2, we'll select limited number of units. Suppose we are taking n number of students from school A, n number of students from school B, n number of students from school D, and so on up till the number of clusters we have selected. And these n number of students from every school will make a number. Suppose it is making capital M. Capital M students will be the part of our sampling, or will be the part of our study. Okay, so this makes it clear what is two-stage sampling. Now moving on, if we want to define, or if we want to make the, if we want to make the overview of this two-stage sampling, in the exam you can draw, if they ask you what is two-stage sampling, you can draw the diagram like this. So first of all, we will say that we are selecting the population. So in population, suppose we have clusters. Suppose we have n number of clusters, capital N. Or let us draw with the ruler. Here we have been given the population. The population consists of capital M n clusters. This is cluster 1 with M units. This is cluster 2 again with M units, and this is cluster capital N again with M units. So total number of units here is N M units. Right? Now from this population we will select our stage 1 sample with simple random sampling without replacement. Here the cluster 1, suppose we have selected cluster 2. Here the units are M only, but the number of C4 M units up till CK M units, or we can write instead of K we can write N. So here are total number of N into capital M units. From the population of capital N clusters, we have selected small n clusters, and this is how it is represented. Now, by simple random sampling without replacement again, we will select from each cluster we will select some number of units. Suppose from cluster 2, I am selecting M units. Cluster 2, small m units we have selected. From cluster 4 also, small m units are selected. And from cluster n, small m units are selected. So the total number of units here are small n into small n. Right? So this is the representation. This is known as population with large number of units. What is the number of units in the population? Capital N into capital M. Then this is known as first stage, where small number of units is there. Smaller number of units. Here the units is small n into capital M. And then there is second stage. Here even smaller number of units is there, which is small n into small m units. So this was your overview of two-stage sampling. Now two-stage sampling can be further conducted in multi-stage sampling as well. Can be conducted to multi-stage sampling. Right? So let us take an example. Suppose we want to find the crop yield in our country. for this year. Suppose we want to find a crop yield. Stage 1 will consist of India, which is a population. Stage 2 will consist of states in India, which is again a cluster. Then stage 3, we selected by simple random sampling without replacement. Then stage 3 again we'll select by simple random sampling without replacement cities, or we can say districts. Again, which are clusters? Then stage 4, we'll select villages. Again, which are clusters? From here again, simple random sampling without replacement. And from here again, simple random sampling without replacement, we select our stage 5, which is nothing but fields. These are the units on which the experiment is conducted. So this is another example of two-stage sampling or multi-stage sampling, in which there is 5 stages. There can be more than 5, there can be less than 5. Two-stage sampling is known as two-stage sampling. More than 2 is known as multi-stage sampling. Suppose if we talk about in two-stage sampling, suppose the capital M is equals to small m is equals to 1. Capital M was m units and small m was also m units. If we only select one unit from each cluster, then this case is nothing but simple random sampling without replacement. This sampling, two-stage sampling, converts from two-stage to simple random sampling without replacement. And if small n is equal to capital N, then this is the case of stratified random sampling. If capital N is the n units that we select from population or the n clusters, is equal to small n, which is in stage 2, which we select clusters. If both of them are equal, then we are left with, but then two-stage sampling get converted to stratified random sampling. And the third one is if small m is equals to capital M, not equal to 1, but they both are equal, then this case is cluster sampling. In cluster sampling we only have one stage, so capital M is equal to small m, so it reduces to cluster sampling. Now let us write important notations. Yij, it is the unit or it is the observation at jth cluster and ith unit. Ith unit of jth cluster. We can write it like this as well. Observation, or without the observation as well, we can write it is the ith unit jth unit in ith cluster in the population, where, okay, that we'll write it again. Small yij is nothing but jth unit in ith cluster in the sample, where I goes from 1 to capital N and j goes from 1 to capital M. So y bar, which is population mean, can be written as 1 upon nm into summation I goes from 1 to n into summation j goes from 1 to capital M yij, or this can also be written as 1 upon n summation I goes from 1 to n y bar I dot, where y bar I dot is nothing but 1 upon capital M summation j goes from 1 to m yij. So these are the important notations of this sampling. This was all for today's class. We'll start doing the estimation and variances of this sampling from the next lecture. Till then, you can keep on watching the previous lecture and keep on practicing on your own. And you can do questions of PYQs and other similar questions regarding the topic we have done today. I hope you got all that we have done. If not, then you can ask in the comment section or on our WhatsApp channel. We'll answer all your relevant doubts. All the best. Thank you.